Okay, so we're here to talk about opportunities, which I already have up on the screen. It's a great tool in Command that you can use for many different things and different ways of tracking. We'll kind of show an overview of what opportunities are, as well as how to create one and how to start one. And then we'll go deeper into it on future classes as well. So I'll go back. This is the screen. I'm going to go back to home just to start. Okay, so just like normally you have your tasks, your goals, your database, and leads. We're going to go back. The handshake right here is opportunities, which basically means this is an opportunity for you to do business. It can be from the very beginning when you first meet someone all the way until you close a transaction and now they become a forever client. So it can go many different ways. First of all, at the top here, you're going to have your name. So these are your specific opportunities, right? All here. You're going to have all opportunities, which if you click here, will give it to you on a list view. Kind of just a different way of looking at it. The difference here is these are active opportunities currently happening. These are all of them. So these are possibly already closed. As you can see, the top 4 here are closed. This one's under contract, 2 in cultivate, 1 at appointment. So these are just different things that I've added in here. Different tags. You can look at commission, when they were closed. You can search by filters, similar to how you can search through your contacts. You can go here and manage different smart views in your opportunities, how many you want to show at one time. As you use this, and as you get more familiar with using it from the very beginning, you'll actually fill this up fairly quickly, and then you can dictate how far they go along when they close, all of those things. This is discussions. You're probably not going to have a whole lot of dialogue in here. These a lot of times will be used more on the team aspect. For instance, this is showing my opportunities. If I was a team owner and I had other members, we may have time in discussions here. So that's what that is. We won't go into that very much. There's really not a whole lot in there. First of all, you can show comparison here with how well you're converting your opportunities compared with other agents. You can turn that on and off very easily if that's important to you. It really doesn't have that big of an effect. You can import opportunities. So for instance, I'd want to select my pipeline. If you're familiar or been with Keller Williams for a while, we used to use dotloop, this company right here. We have since moved to DocuSign, which is actually available inside of an opportunity. We'll probably go over that more in another class because I think we could spend an entire hour on DocuSign alone. But if you did have dotloop profiles that you wanted to come over into Command, you could actually import those and hit continue, and it would bring those loops or transactions into Command. So that is an option for you if that's important to you. The import button is right there. This is how you will create an opportunity. This little wheel here is for your settings. Okay, so we'll automatically take you to the settings window, go down to opportunities, opportunity settings, and show you what you can do. So when you get into opportunities, there are progress points that you can check that sends them your client emails to let them know how far through the transaction they are. This gives you a time based on when to send those auto emails. Mine says 8:50, you can change it. You can change who it's sent from. Again, mine is not a team, it's just a solo agent, so it's just me. Send to client and co-client or primary client only. This would be like if you had a husband and wife or mom and son or whatever, the brother, sister, whatever the case may be, you may want to have co-clients so that they both get it rather than just one. And then I have it checked in here that it also gets sent to me as well. I want to see it because I want to know that they got it. Okay, email template from designs. You can actually preview what they will look for. So for instance, here's your, hi John Smith, we're writing to let you know that we have completed the following activities. And then it will list the activities. This is the property address which they are purchasing and or selling. That will automatically populate for you. And then this is what has happened. Call plumber, take photos. You'll notice when we get further in, you actually get to choose what these checkmark boxes are called, which is pretty cool because you can change them from opportunity to opportunity should you choose. This would be all of your information and a chance to download your app. And then whatever your, oh, I like the Kelly test team has like some, like maybe cupcakes or something in there. Those look good. So this is what it will look like when you send that email to your client. By the way, it gives you an option here to do a default template. They don't have any other options. It's always the default template. And it's in designs. So we don't want to get too far into that, but that, just so you know, this is how you can go to look at what it will look like. You can go ahead and save those changes. Okay, so now we're in settings. Those are your opportunity settings. So this says design template, choose the sketch house template you'd like to use to send offers to your clients. Again, they don't have any other template available, so that is the one you get. They may obviously do that into the future, so we'll have to look out for that to see if it shows up any different. This is opportunity archives. So for instance, this is an opportunity I had for a listing. Something happened to the owner of the property. We ended up actually taking the listing off. So I archived the opportunity because it's something that is not going to close. So that's a way to get back to, you can also get back to your archived contacts back here as well. So we'll go back to opportunities. Okay, so you're gonna see here, there's 3 types that they allow you to have: listings, buyers, and leases. Within leases, you have the option of picking landlord or tenant, depending on where you're at with it. Should you choose to track those, awesome. Should you not, totally fine. Me personally, I'm not going to take the time to track a lease, but I will take the time to track listings and buyers. Okay, so you'll notice the stages are roughly the same: cultivate to appointment to active on the market or active under contract, and closed. Okay, so these are all going to stay the same. Those are your 5 kind of categories to move your clients from and to as you go down the road. Leases is the same. Down here, you can see what your ratios are. So you can see right now 3 listings to 1 buyer. So I'm a 75 to 25 ratio. No leases, that's at 0%. It will tell you your probable and potential income. Potential is what will happen if all of your opportunities were to close. Probable is where you're at in the stage right now with the percentage that they actually will close. So that's the difference. As you move them further along in the timeline, right now I have a buyer in cultivate. Average time is 60 days to finish that. So if I moved this buyer from cultivate to active, my probable income would go up quite a bit. It would be closer to that 8 grand. That would be the actual commission. That's the difference. And then it'll tell you what's closing this month if you're up to date. This is your activity, so you can see where you're at. If you just, it doesn't have a number here, but if you scroll over it like I am, it'll tell you 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, right? You can also click down here and go from listing to buyer to landlord to tenant. If you wanted to look at them individually, you can do that as well. Okay, and it will tell you your probable and potential right here on the right too for each one. It'll tell you adjusted commission based on each stage's probability to close. You can adjust the conversion ratios on all of these as well. Potential income 8, probable potential, okay? So I'm gonna show you a couple different ways that you can create an opportunity. For one, you can click this little green button right here. It says create opportunity. Market center, you're only gonna have one option because you only belong to one. Opportunity type, very simple. You choose one of the 4. I'm gonna go ahead and choose listing. And then you will need a client. So very important, if you do not have your opportunity, if you don't have your client in command, you cannot begin an opportunity. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, I'll do one for Ivan. I'm the owner. If you're running a team, you'd have team. You could choose different owners here. Custom tags if you want to, whether they're a referral, you could choose different custom tags for your opportunities, depend on maybe where they came from. So if you wanted to do a tag for like, you know, these leads came from database, this is from Zillow, these are from Instagram, these are from open house. If you wanted to use those custom tags so that you could see in your pipeline of business where they were coming from, that may be a good idea for you if that's important to you. Again, those custom tags would just need to be created, which we've done a class on before. So if you need to go back and watch the video on how to do custom tags, it's very easy. It's in settings. So if you just wrote one in here, you can create it as well. So for instance, if I wanted to do open house here for Ivan, I could actually create it right here. Doesn't give you all the options for color and all that thing, and it's still okay. So estimated closing date, let's say July. List price is $365. Commission rate is 3%. And then here's the phase and stage that we're going to put them in. And this will make a little bit more sense later. So right now, I'll put him in cultivate, and then you have different stages. Is he a watch, a nurture, or hot? I'm going to say he's a hot lead. We'll hit create. All right, so this is your full detailed listing as far as what opportunities are concerned. So this will give you all the information, co-seller, time frame, appointment. By the way, you can hit the little pencil here. You can edit all of this information. When was the appointment scheduled? When is the date? When did you win? I love that. That says agreement 1. That's awesome. I like the wording there. That's cool. Time frame, let's say maybe he was going to be ready in 3 months. I can put that in there. 1 month goes all the way to 12, 1, 3, 6, 12 or other. And other will allow you to actually choose what the months are. It gives you a max of 36. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 1. Appointment, you can put contract date, close date. Obviously, some of these dates you won't know. That's why you can go back in here and edit it over and over so that you can have all the information. Let's hit save. We can go up to property. So for instance, we could search United States, search for location. So his is, let's see, students 2. There it is, Goldie RF Street. Fill all that in for me. I'll hit save. Now I have that. Porch, this is a repair estimate report. This is a really interesting thing. We could do a different class on this as well. This is a company that you can actually submit your inspection report to, and they will send you back a updated estimate on what all of those repairs were to cost. Whether you're representing the buyer or seller, it's a good thing to know. Similar to what, if you're at our stakeholders meeting yesterday, what Mike offered. Porch is just a basically all electronic internet company that will do it for you. So something to think about if you'd like. This is your seller worksheet. So once you got under contract, buyer's agent commission is the same, maybe 3. Seller's closing costs traditionally is about 1.5%. Mortgage balance, let's say he owed 200,000. Right, second 0, prorated taxes. I'm not going to guess on that. HOA dues could be there. So then what you could do is you could show net. This way, if you got multiple different offers, you could see what the net of each one of those offers would be, which is also another option in opportunities. When you get over here to offers, you can actually upload your offers into opportunities, and the offers will tell you the net of each one to the seller. So it's pretty cool. Once you've accepted the offer, you'll be able to view your commission. That's what this is. So these are all the details that we went through, right? So you can do show net if you want. Right here, if this was a lost opportunity, you could actually click that it was lost and it will go away. Similar to what I showed you before. It's not lost. So we will take that out. All right, so right here, seller profile. So it says, it tells me he's not registered with the consumer platform, which means he does not have the app, right? And then, so that means he does not get the guide. If you guys are unfamiliar with what the guide is, I'll show you at the very end, just so you can kind of understand what that looks like. Documents, this is where you can connect to DocuSign or Dotloop. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later. If we go into that, we'll take longer than the time that we have. Offers is where you'll actually submit the offers. You can add them right in here. Notes, any notes you want to make on the file. If you're working with any kind of TC or assistant or anything like that that needs to know what's going on, it'd be a great idea to leave your notes here inside of the opportunity where you could go to one place and find out all of the updates going on with the transaction. And then this is your timeline. All right, so this will tell you everything that's happened. These are all the edits we just made. You can check date range. So if we go all the way, we started. So checklist added to the DTD2 system. Opportunity, checklist sent. So these are all checklist items that I've added to the cultivate stage. So I'll show you that in just a second. That will all make more sense. These are all the edits that I just changed and made. And so it'll give you a timeline as you go, okay? So right here, I can click on Ivan and it will actually take me to his contact card. I can click on the listing, it will actually take me to the listing. So let's show you that. This will tell me all of his information, his phone number and email. If I want to contact him, I can just do it right here really quick. I can also go to contacts, it will actually take me all the way there. Okay, then this is the actual property that he's going to. So I can remove it, I can change it, I can edit it. So that's what happens when you click on those. Now, if I click right here, sales pipeline listing cultivate, this is going to take me into actually being able to drag and drop these. All right, so these are our phases that we talked about before. Cultivate, appointment, active, under contract, close. I'm going to show you a different way to get here. I'm going to go back to opportunities. You can simply just go over listings, right, and click on any one of these stages. You see how they kind of pop open? So if I want to see cultivate, I click on cultivate, I end up at the same place. If I want to go into the listing to get all the details, I just click on it, I go where we just were. All right, so you'll notice Command gives you a few different ways to get places. So I just like to make sure that we're kind of, understand we're on the same page with what we're doing there. These little percentages are the percentage that is likely that this particular opportunity will get all the way to closing. Okay, so if you have people in watch, that means they're just kind of there. They may have expressed they're going to do business at some point in the future, not really a particular time frame. They may go under watch. If you had somebody that was under nurture, they may say, you know what, we'll be ready in 6 to 12 months. We're waiting for blank to happen. Perfect, you put them in nurture. Or hot is like, okay, within the next 30 days, we're going to set an appointment and we're going to get you into buying or selling. All right, so you can, if you see this thing turns into kind of like a little glove, you can pick these up and drag them. So I can change him to nurture. I can put him to watch. See, here's probable and potential income based on the commission rates that we've put in there. If I take him, it's 960 probable. If I take him here, well, it added the two together, but it's more than it was. So if I take him here, it increases again. So each time your probability, you increase that you have more probable income. The potential of this closing is just over 10,000 at 3%. And it actually lets you know the commission percentage right here on top. This is the closing date. This is who owns it. And then these are the checklist items within it. Okay. You also have options here. You can view details or you can archive the opportunity. This is like a sample one I made with my wife and I on it with different checklist items too. Okay, so this is board view. You can also go list view, where you can look at all of them, what's under watch, what's under nurture, what's under hot. You can still drag them if you should choose to. Kind of like board view, just I think is a little easier to the eye, but totally up to you. Now, the cool thing here is, let's say I have an appointment with Ivan, right? I can pick him up and I can actually move him to appointment. Now, if I go to appointment, there he is. All right. So you'll notice you have different stages in here, right? The top part are called phases, and then these are called your stages. Let me know if that ever gets confusing, because it confuses me. All right, so now we have different checklist items, as you can see right here. This is 0 of 0. So I'm going to take him back to cultivate again. Move him up there. All right, so he's back to cultivate. So you can see I've actually edited the stages here. So for instance, there's 4 checklist items when they're in watch, 0 in nurture, and 5 in hot. Now, if you want to look at those, you just simply click on it. And here's what I need to do. For my business, everybody I put into watch, I'm going to send an initial note card to. I'm going to place into the DTD2 system, and I'm going to send an introduction video. And then this one I created as a test just to see. You can move these to say what it needs to be done by. Okay. You can add items if you want to. So schedule a Zoom call. Can literally be whatever you want. There's no, then you can set a due date. So for instance, I set these back in April when I did this example. I can also edit this. So I could set the date to tomorrow. Okay, then I can hit save. So these are different ways that I can keep track of who I put in there and what needs to be accomplished. So I could check off that I did this. Okay, so now I've completed all of my items. I can even hide the completed items should I choose to, or unhide them. Okay, then I can close. Now this says 5 of 5. Now over here, it lets you know that Ivan is 0 of 5. So again, you can click on that. So I have the same thing, initial note card, introduction video, send video tips for selling, and send video on current market is what that says. Again, I can set due dates for all of those. Okay, then I can go into appointment. So if I go to appointment, I can do the same thing. Now, you might be wondering, well, how do I edit those, for everybody? By the way, you can sort by different things here too. You can sort by closing date, commission, and opportunity name. If I click up here, edit stages, I can actually edit all of those. So in appointment, it's scheduling, scheduled, and kept. I can change the order. Obviously, these are pretty self-explanatory. You'd want to be in that order. But I could also change completely what it's called. So I could say set, and I could make this one held, and I could just have set and held, and I could delete scheduled. Okay, so I'm going to put it back. You notice you can also change your probability. So I might know that every appointment I get to where I'm asking a scheduling question, my probability is actually 20% versus others that might be 10. So you can change those based on what your conversion is. If you're tracking your conversion through opportunities, by the end of the year or the end of the quarter or the end of the month, however you want to track it, you'll actually be able to get closer to what those conversion rates actually are because you're paying attention and you're tracking. Okay, so this is the appointment stages. I can go back. I can go to active. Active gives me different ones. It gives me staging, showing, negotiations, and legacy. So again, I can edit those. Gives me all 4. I can edit the probability. I can put the checklist items in there. I can go, okay, well, what items do I need to do once they get into staging? Okay, I can schedule a property walk with the staging company. Whatever your business calls for, you can put in these, anything you want. Showing, negotiations, and legacy. Legacy is always going to be considered your forever clients. So what do you do with them to make sure that they never leave and stay with you? It's also a great thing that you can say, ask for referrals. If you're like me, you don't do this enough when you're in a transaction. It's just one thing we don't always think about. Be a great task to include in there. Go back. We can go to under contract. So this is what's currently under contract. So again, opening escrow, in the inspection stage, and in the appraisal stage. So they have all of these at 90%. I'm not sure I would fully agree with that. I would say it gets a little bit better as you go down the road. Again, you can edit these, right? So they have escrow, inspection, appraisal, financing, and clear to close, all necessary things. And we all know we can have different conversations and dialogue throughout those. You can set stages for those. And then you have closed and legacy. So you move them into closed. Then in closed, you might have, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You could click on your checklist. You could add send closing gift. Request review testimonial. Oops, that went away before I could save it. So you get the picture. I could go to legacy and I could say 7-day check-in. Hey, you've been in the house for 1 week. How's it going? How do you like it? 30-day check-in. Ask for referrals. Add back to DTD2 system, something like that, right? They go right back into your CRM to begin to follow up. Now, if you do different things for your closed, for legacy, whatever you want to call it, again, you can rename the stage. I could call this Forever Clients. Whatever makes sense for you. By the way, I'm not sure how this one is not 100%. So I think that's really cool. You can always edit these. Let's go back. And you can add more too. It doesn't have to be just 2. You can add a stage right here. You can add more of them. So stage name, what position you want, what the probability is. You want to join Mastering Command?
Yeah, sure.
JT says hi. So that is how you do that with stages. Let's see. Again, you can do list view. You can drag them that way. I think board view is pretty cool. I enjoy doing it that way. So for instance, this right here is actually fell out of escrow. So I can put it back to active, right? So now it's in active. It is in legacy. It should be in negotiations because that's what we're doing right now. Let's go back to, so they are actually already active as well. So I'll move them to active. They are showing. Let's go back to Ivan. Ivan is under contract. And he is in inspections. All right, so can kind of, if you really are dedicated to this and follow with it, you will have a really, really good outlook on what's coming, what your pipeline looks like, how much money is to be made in the near future, what your conversion ratios are, you know, what tasks should I be doing for inspections? Should I be letting Ivan know what's going to happen, right? So prepare seller for inspection, set expectations, send short video explaining the job of the home inspector. As we all know, if you can set expectations and get ahead of things, there will be less questions in the long run. So that's kind of how I would view these stages, is how can I use this to remind me of what I need to do next? We always say when you talk to your clients, you always want to tell them, okay, this is what's going to happen next. So this is a great way to do that. Again, you can add and change as many of these stages as you want to. And you can change the conversion and probability of them as well. All right. Any questions on how to move them around, what the stages or phases mean.
No questions.
Okay. All right. I'll have to see if JT had a question because he decided to interrupt us. All right. Now sort by, kind of went over that before. This is just going to sort this right here. So let's go back to, let's go under contract. Let's take Ivan to active. I'll bring him back. Come on. There we go. All right. Now, for instance, let's put these two both in negotiations. If I sort by commission, Ivan's going to be at the top because it's a larger commission percentage. If I sort by opportunity name, Lance would go back up because his name is alphabetically in Donovan lower than Patron, right? So that's just a different way you can do it. You can do it by closing date. Again, he has an expected closing date sooner. His is already passed. So just different ways. If you're really having a lot of people, it would work really good back here. If you are really putting all of your people in cultivate, you may have 30 people in watch, 10 in nurture, and 5 in hot, and you may want to quickly say, okay, who's the most important? Let's go back to closing date. Who do I need to call right away, right? So that may be a good way for you to do that, and that's why that is there. Otherwise, this part is fairly self-explanatory in how to do that. I'm gonna take him back to, oops. I think he went to under contract. Yep, and he is in inspections. Okay, perfect. All right. So the more up to date you stay with this, the better it will do for you. I'm going to go back just so that you can look at it now. All of a sudden, my potential income is higher. My probable is higher. I like both of those. We're going to go to buyers. So I'm just going to show you real quick buyers. Same thing. They are technically, I believe, in appointment. So watch, nurture, hot, same thing. You can go to edit stages, you can move them, and you can add the checklists. Obviously for buyers, especially once you get to the active phase, we'll have different priorities than sellers based on what has to happen through escrow. So appointment, scheduling, scheduled, kept, same. So instead of staging, it's searching, showing, negotiations, and legacy, under contract, inspection, escrow, inspections, appraisal, finance, and clear to close. That's pretty much the same buyer and seller. We're kind of all waiting for the same things. And then closed is the same too, closed and legacy. Okay. So that's the difference in buyers. It's pretty much the same. Again, you can sort by these three things. Let's go back. I'll show you leases just so that you can see them. Watch, nurture, hot, cultivate, appointments the same. Active, showing, application submitted. Pending is just application accepted, and close will be leased. Tenant occupied and legacy. Okay. Also, you can change this to landlord, and then they will be a little bit different based on whether they're in the home or not, and you can still sort by the same three. Okay, you can still edit stages, you can still create an opportunity. Let's go that way. All right, so now you can see I actually have more listings and then more potential income, which is awesome. So I'm gonna go real quick. I'm gonna show you a different way to start an opportunity. So let's go to contacts. All right. Who should I use? We'll pick on Ivan again just because he seems like a good one. All right, so Ivan is here. Now I have an opportunity here already, right? I could go add to smart plan, edit, and archive right here, but I can also just create an opportunity right here. Okay, so if you saw that, I go to any contact, whoever it is, I'm in their contact card, here's all their information. I can simply go right up here and go to create opportunity. It's going to ask me the exact same questions. I'm going to say it's a listing. His name is already filled in because we went to his contact first. Co-seller would be here if they had one. Opportunity name. I'm actually going to change this to land listing because it's a piece of land. Again, custom tags. You can choose open house. Estimated close date on this one. Let's put August. Land takes a little bit longer to sell. 195. 3%. It's inactive. And we are showing. Okay. Great. All right. So you'll hit create. It will leave you right here on the contact card as well. So if I want to go to it, I just simply click on it. And it's actually going to open up a new window. So I can still go back and forth with all of the profile on here. Again, I can fill out all of the information. I can even add a description at the bottom to describe what's going on or leave notes. Okay, go back. So now I have 2 active. All right, so that's really pretty much the start of opportunities and how you can use it. It's a great tool to use if you guys have kind of been listening to where things are going. This will eventually be how and the only way that we can take credit for our sales and get paid by the company. We are still using green sheets. At least here we are. I know a lot of places have started to go away from them. Originally, we were going to go away from them end of last year, and then we kind of held off and pushed it forward. So you do have the option to use this and really get your opportunities in there. You can still also use green sheets. If you have a transaction coordinator, they can really handle a lot of that for you. But this will be the new way that we track and measure and how Melissa can see everything that's going on in our businesses, okay? I'm gonna go back into active. Let's go to under contract. We'll open up Ivan's listing and documents. So many of you will probably want to start a transaction. You'll use DocuSign. This is where you will want to upload a lot of your documents in order to make sure that you are in compliance, okay? So you're gonna pick your checklist type, residential, outbound, referral, or land. It's residential. It will tell you once you do that, what you need, okay? 0 of 14 are uploaded. It's telling you right now I need a listing agreement. So this is how you will make sure that you're in compliant with the Market Center as you go through with your transaction. You can add the files individually here on the right. You can also attach multiple files if you should choose. So you can attach them all at one time and then kind of fill them into the box they go in. You can add comments. You can also add additional items. Let's say you have addendums. It's not going to require an addendum because you may not have one. However, if you do, you'd want it to be there. Listing agreement, SRPD, residential disclosure guide, consent to act if necessary. You can see right here, this is required. This is optional, right? So just depends. With any of the required items, you will have to close the deal. Duties owed, transaction fee, conditionally required if applicable, which to me basically means optional. Net sheet, pest disclosure, mold disclosure, lead-based paint, MLS active, affiliated business, price change if you have one, and referral agreement W-9 if there's a referral. All right, so that just kind of gives you an idea of what you would need. Once you get all of these filled in, you can actually hit this little button that says submit to the Market Center, and you can submit your file for compliance at that time. We may go into this further in an additional class as well, because we could spend a lot of time uploading these and showing you how that works as well. This is listed, this is under contract, so obviously the different forms you need once it gets under contract. Go through those, closed, what you'll need to say that it's closed. And then these are folders, so you can actually create a folder. And I can put documents in here as well. If there's additional documents I want to make sure stay with the file. Okay. You can go to settings on folders as well. We're not going to get too far into that. Let's go back. If it was an outbound referral, you can still send it through command, which is great. I had somebody actually send me one through command not too long ago, which was pretty cool to see that it works through there. Under contract and close, they only need so much if it's a referral. And then they have land as well, because land requires different disclosures. Okay. So go back to that. So that is where you will go to upload your documents. Now you need to have created the opportunity first, get it into the correct stage. You can start to upload your documents. You can also upload your offers here. We kind of mentioned that before, but you can add new offers. What would you like to call it? So maybe the last name of the buyer is what you call each one, and then you create it and you can upload it. Okay. Commissions become available once you have offers, notes, and then timeline, which we showed you already. Since you can also go back to the checklist based on where they're at, right? So they're under contract. I can go right up here and see those are the two things that I wrote in earlier: prepare seller, send short video. I can set due dates for these. So as you can see, it works kind of back and forth in different ways depending on how you want to get there. So I'm going to go back to opportunities. All right. Any specific questions based on what we've gone over so far?
No, we don't have any.
No? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop. That'll be it for today's session. We'll go further and deeper into documents and compliance, and then we'll also go further into DocuSign and how you can utilize all of your forms from there as well to make sure that you have them to upload. All right, so we will say bye for now.